One. All right, hear me out. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder, and today is Thursday, July the 25th, 2024. If this is your first time come to the podcast, man, I sure do appreciate you for coming. Somehow you heard about it and you're here. But if you've been with me and rocking with me from the beginning, you already know what's going to happen. So just get ready for this roller coaster of wisdom and knowledge that's about to be dropped on you and the emotions that come with it behind the decisions that come after it. So today, um, again, I told you my man was gonna be back on here. Too cool Timmy, and he's blessing the podcast today with some of his intellect that I definitely appreciate. Some good report as well, and then kind of just you know what I'm saying putting out in the universe what's necessary for the time. So if you wouldn't mind, my brother, go ahead and take it away.
Greetings, salutations, and hello to all of you in the cyber world and in the real world. I am Too Cool Timmy, Tim Mason to be exact. And grateful to be on your platform yet again. As y'all see, I'm putting some lotion on, man. You can't be ashy around here, dog. You can't be ashy. You gotta stay moisturized around here. What's your favorite lotion as a sidebar, real quick, bro? You got a favorite lotion you use?
Dog, man, look, let me tell you something, man. So it's fucked up, but it's funny. I was all anti Bath and Body Works, right? I'm like, man, this
What?
listen, right? I'm old school,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I'm old school. I was just using like the oil, you know what I'm saying? Like coconut oil, or was it argan, whatever oil. So that's what
Yeah,
I was,
argan oil.
yeah, for my skin. And
Yeah.
I apparently had sensitive skin, so I couldn't do like fragrances and stuff. But my daughter ended
Okay.
up working at Bath and Body Works one summer, and she put me onto that damn body creams they got.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh, that's-
man.
hey, I got them all, man. I got them all. Matter of fact, they so good. My wife stole one of mine, hated her own, and I'm like, man, we both can't be smelling like this. So I just, you know, what I'm saying.
Why not though? Especially if it's masculine. I mean, is it like a
Well, it's
neutral?
not okay. So off, yeah, we getting off, but I like this. I like what. Um, no, okay, so if you know the lines, right? You got to know Bath and Body Works to know the lines. And the only reason I know this is because an older black lady told me this. So gingham, right? Gingham is the one that I'm talking about, but it's gingham unstoppable. It was like
Okay.
it was like beginning of the year they dropped it or whatever. It was blue with like this, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, I put that shit on. I was like, damn. It took me
Yeah.
took me back somewhere, right? So she was explaining to me the history of it, how it was a woman's fragrance at first, right? So then I'm like, nah, that's not what I'm getting from it. What I'm getting from it is, you remember Aspen cologne?
hmm
Remember it came in that green bottle, had the gold tree on it.
Real woodsy. Yeah, real woodsy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So gingham to me is like a softer, you know what I'm saying, kind of like a more on the cooler side of Aspen, like just a variation. So, anyways, to answer your question, it don't matter which one it is. It's just got to be the body cream. That's what I put on my skin now.
okay. So I swear by this scent right now, man. And I like the females kind of do this thing. They like to hybrid they scents. You know what I'm saying? They'll go with a body cream, and then they'll put like a little hint of that little fragrance or whatnot with it too. I'm like, man, you know what? Have you ever smelled this? Smoked the old fashioned?
Nah, I ain't seen that.
Man, listen.
That one
You
yet.
just first off, what was the color of that spray you just said? That aspen. What was the color of that?
Aspen was green, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's definitely a seasonal one because they got another one, dog, with
Yeah,
the flannel one. Ah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now
yeah,
we probably showing our age like a motherfucker right now, man.
yeah,
Because
man.
some folks probably don't even
They don't
swear
even,
by that. Yeah,
yeah,
but
they wouldn't even
hey,
know, man. They
yeah,
gotta know your history, man. But then
yeah.
again, it was cheap back then. Now that shit's expensive. But the body
Every
shit. Well, it ain't cheap. It's only cheap when it's on sale. I get them 5.99 or 5.95. Boy, I load up on that.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
can.
You got to, you.
Yeah,
But
man.
man, I,
Yeah.
I
About
thank
you.
you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for having me, family, yet again. And I had to sidebar that real quick because I was putting, I ain't want to be ashy, man. No married man being out here ashy like that. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Speaking of, now they can see you better, right? So with
okay,
the last one, right? So when we did it the last time, did you get any feedback from it?
of course, of course.
Tell me about it.
Uh,
What it do for you?
first off, you should always seek counsel
Hmm.
and think that whenever you're trying to polish self, you know, you gotta seek counsel from the people who you are able to be vulnerable with, and they can handle your vulnerability in an encouraging way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I was looking for in all the ways in which I network with people, my vulnerability is to scale betterment for self. So I think the delivery of what I was trying to, give the first time, nervousness. It's just even if it's just a screen and you
Yeah.
talk normal,
Yeah.
the spotlight is on you still brings a sense of mental nervousness. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a lot more relaxed today. It can give you. I got my water. My timeless tape was on there. So timeless tape was water. I'll be like get a sip on, keep me hydrated. But
Speaking of speaking of water, right? So this week, as a part of, what I'm saying, seeking counsel, um, one of the bits of advice or guidance I had gotten in the moment of my time was to,
yeah,
and man, this is good. I'm on day 4 of a water fast, uh, all day. I think each day I probably had a handful of like this candy just for my sugar, and then a handful of like mixed nuts. Other than that, man, it's just been water. And I
yeah,
tried before, and it sucked so bad. But man, I think now I don't even feel it, dog. Like it's crazy how water, because you brought it
yeah,
up.
yeah.
You got your
Well,
kind of water, right? So I just so happened now, mind you, I got a whole concoction of just lemon water and stuff that I'm drinking at work or whatever. But today, for today's episode, the message is liquid death. So the water fast for me is killing what I'm trying to get over, what I'm trying to get through. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
some of that came from what you had relayed to me in what I'm saying, our exchanges. So thank you for that, my brother. But
Oh
continue.
yeah.
I want to let you know that it was impactful.
Oh, I like that. So, um, so many things, man. So many things. And that word impactful right there is just really what I've been on as far as, seeking counsel. When you're trying to polish self,
Yeah.
you want to you want to be affected by impactful people so that you can be infectious impactfully. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah. So
So,
who impacts you the most? Who impacts or has the most influence or input in your decisions making when it comes to putting it together outside of your higher self? Who do
oh
you go to?
oh, man. Well, good question. I believe that I have recently been going to crazy. I'm gonna give a reference.
Mhm.
Nick Cannon and his platform with the council culture. Hey, that's a gem. That's a gem.
Yeah,
It's
when
it's a
you sent it to me, I was like, nigga, I've been saying that shit.
that's
That's
a gem.
it's crazy. It's almost like when we first met each other. Like it's like, damn,
Yeah,
nigga, like this for real. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't just me. And
yeah,
yeah, that's cool though, man. But in your personal space, like is it your wife? Is it a family member? Is it a good friend? Like somebody you say, hey, I'm doing this podcast, man. I want you to check it out. I was on here. I want you to check it out. Is there anybody that kind of helped you, in that, or you kind of just keeping this to yourself right now?
Now, I think my wife has definitely been a huge, cheerleader, and a great inspiration just from me being able to watch her and mothering. And she's also, a cheer coach for our girls' cheer team. You know what I'm saying? So I see and I study and I view the operations of what she navigates. Not only that, my uncle has been, a great voice of reason within my life, just from the standpoint of him being a retired Marine, military man. Of course, I'm, you know, same with the Army as well. And so, I just learned how to, put a lot of steps in my motion from the people who I've, been nurtured by, and I think that's been an influence for me. But back to that Nick Cannon though, he had an interview, of course, with a great brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. Of course, he had a great interview with him. More to come for that, but brother, and much respect to the Nation of Islam, because brother Nuri Muhammad, I even inboxed this cat, man, just to let him know, like, hey, I respect what you're doing, and not just that, but you inspire me because the words that he was speaking, just from the standpoint of utilizing Nick Cannon's platform and his own platform, as well as the Nation of Islam, and advocating for really just, I'm gonna kind of put it in the black,
Yeah.
in the Black Star, one of their tracks called Knowledge of Self. The guy that's called KOS, Knowledge of Self Determination. And that's what he's talking about. He's talking about being able to have a focus on yourself and the knowledge that you are gaining in your life and being stable.
Hmm.
So I that's where my me seeking counsel, that's really what I'm doing, and curating, the folks that's around me. And so that's where my inspiration been coming from lately, man. I just really been focused on that.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. When I listened to it, one, I had a moment of reflection. Right, it was almost like, you got kids. Well, I don't know if your kids are old enough, but my daughter used to watch That's So Raven. And
Yeah,
on there, she would have these moments, like these epiphany moments where everything would rush to her and she would come out of that, you know what I'm saying, this vision and realize like she's in this space because of all these things that have happened. And
yeah.
my whole catalog just fast forwarded through my mind when he was talking and he was hitting them points, I was like, man, okay, so the part that I'm missing in my equation is discipline, which is one, and then the other part is applying the discipline to a purpose, right? So
Yeah.
in talking with you and listening to that, I said, okay, so how can I apply a level of discipline that I can monitor, without expressing that I need any acknowledgement, right? I ain't tell nobody I was gonna do it. I just did it.
Yeah.
And anything I usually do, I do cold turkey. Like I just cut it straight off just to see if I can do it. But in that, I applied that discipline to another thing that he was saying about how their purpose is to protect the black man because the black man is God. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, so if that is the case, a black man is not a black man by color. He's a black man by belief because it's what they believe in. But what they see in a black man is God. And I was like, you
Mm.
know what? I said, that is probably why I'm always telling people I'm Native American and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Because as a black man, right, there's an identity there that you have visually, but internally, yeah, spiritually and mentally comes to the God side. And I was like, okay, I need to apply that discipline to that way of thinking. And I reached out to one of my homeboys that I used to kick it tough with. I'm talking about we used to do some dumb shit. Who's a member of the Nation of Islam and has shaken hands with, what I'm saying, Farrakhan and
Yeah.
Yusuf, what I'm saying? So in that short period of time, that's how for me, right, I know that my way of thinking and the resignation that I received in his message was,
Yeah,
okay, so there is a way to apply my way of thinking into a life of discipline for purpose. And I'm like, okay, so let me reach out. Let me find out. Because when he
yeah,
described, and I wish we had the video, we might come back to this another day, but I wish I had the audio or video where he talked about how in the Nation of Islam they identify with their soldiers the identity of somebody seeking help, meaning they have a soldier that has been where you are and can do these things. And not only that,
yeah,
th- their belief is that anybody can change. And all
yeah.
you have to do is be disciplined. And I was like, man, that's some cold stuff. There is no levels of discipline. It's just complete. So yeah, man, that's
So
dope.
your cold turkey that you think you do,
Hmm.
you think living in, just the practice of the discipline that you think you already have embedded in you?
Say that one more time.
Because you said you go cold turkey whenever you just do something and you shift, right? You just like, man, let me see how you really what I interpreted is you just really evaluating how disciplined you can be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know the thing about trying and wanting to see is two different things, right? So
Okay.
when you try, you're reaching for things that are tangible. You're putting it together. You're trying to put it together. But when you just do it, meaning it, like stop,
Yeah.
and is just stop. It's not, like my drinking, right? It'll be 3 years October, right? I'm talking about cold turkey next day. I'm not doing this shit no more. Nah, I'm finna wean myself off of it. You know, I'm gonna try and stop drinking. I said I'm going to do it because I need to see. And a lot of my messages are you don't know until you do, right? So instead of trying, I'm just gonna do it, and then
Okay.
find out how disciplined I am. Meaning, do I even really want to do it, right? Because there's been a lot of times where in my life I've said I'm gonna do something and I never finish it because what I'm really doing is trying. And
Oh,
I think that with just from what I heard a little bit about the Nation of Islam, is they force you to put yourself in that mind frame of doing and not trying. And no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no excuse for you not to do what you're supposed to be doing. So
Nick, in that interview, he made an example talking about why people choose Christianity over, let's say, like the Nation of Islam, or just being a Muslim, or any other like discipline of a religious practice or belief. And what I believe, even Brother Nuri Muhammad said, he was going to church when he was a youngin, you know what I mean, trying to really just kind of find that conviction point of change. And he said, when you are, and this, I mean, you could just look at the patterns. This ain't even me just trying to like convince people to go Muslim or not be a Christian. It's more about how well can you identify the patterns of your behaviors and what goal do you really have in your change. So I picked up from that dialogue. You really have to understand why you teetering. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are you teetering with the idea of changing? Why don't you just change?
mm,
You see what I'm like? When you teeter with it, you're really trying to stay connected to this behavior because you're afraid of the other side of what that change is going to look like.
yeah,
And so I believe a lot of us are fixated in that way of thinking because it's a coping mechanism. And all coping is you just trying to hold on to a practice that you're familiar with. Not even if it's not healthy for you. You see what I mean? You
yeah,
utilize drinking. We could use any kind of vice, drinking, smoking, sex, porn, whatever. And if you think about it, we typically hold on to these types of behavior patterns just to keep us in a familiar sense of like sanity. I mean, it's all in books, man. It's like this shit ain't
yeah.
new.
Well,
So
like he said though, it's written, right? That
yeah,
it's that whole, we're all saying the same thing, but nobody's speaking the same language, right? So even in the Bible, the reference to what you just said and what I said at the same time it all lines up with leaning on your own understanding. That's where we
Yeah,
fall short, right? And
yeah.
instead of, what I'm saying, when he said that my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways, and how far away from what you think is what I think, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, I always tell people, you know what I'm saying, in the business that I'm in, anything that makes sense makes no sense at all. So don't try and figure it out. Just do it, right? I used
Mhm.
to have like let's just say I use an example. I had a staff where, people were working in the back office at a real high end, high clientele law firm. All ethnic brothers, sisters, you know what I'm saying, Hispanic, black, whatever. Not too many white folks, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one or two here and there. But they would
Mhm.
always get inside themselves when they didn't like how things were going based upon their understanding, right? Well, you're not gonna talk to me like that. I'm not gonna let her say that to me. Yeah, that works for you at home and that works for you in the streets, but this is your job, right? I need you to learn how to operate here so that you can deal with that, right? So stop
Okay.
trying to understand why somebody's talking to you a certain way or listen to what they're saying because it just may be that you never know. The secretary might be under stress from the paralegal. The paralegal might be under stress from the attorney. The attorney might be under stress from the client. You don't know what's going on, but your job is to do what they ask you to do. Doesn't matter how they say it. Now, if they being disrespectful, that's a whole nother thing, right? So it's just like parenting, right? So even when, he talked about when God gives a command and he already has programmed you as a replica, like he said that, and
Yep.
you're supposed to operate as such. You have the ability to control that, but because we lean on our own understanding and like you said, try, we fall short.
Here's my question to you, dog.
Yep.
Are we so far gone in distractions to where we really can't get to a more unified place of sanity and like practicality in our lives to where it's a healthy narrative? Because it's a question that's trying to really cultivate what you just said. We all not speaking the same language. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And the reality is how much language needs to be spoken for there to be a clear understanding. That's my question. Like, why we got to speak so many different languages
Yeah.
just just to get to the basic fundamentals of understanding? Like,
Yeah.
you,
That's
but
just no, I get where you're coming from. And I'm just going to use the reference that, what I'm saying, they use in the Nation of Islam is that from what I've learned in this past couple days, which is the basics, which is the most powerful part, is that they believe in all of the prophets and the Messiah. They believe that the truth is the truth, right? Now the level of connection to God is a little different, but they do believe Jesus was, what I'm saying, a messenger. They do believe in all the messengers. Let's just say that. And I think the problem is that the other messengers don't want to believe in them, so they always seem to be outcasts. I say that to say, me and you come from two different worlds, right? Just even though we're connected on a whole nother frequency, we had to get there at some point. But in order to
Mhm.
get there, you have to start understanding where you put yourself in life. So like, I was in management, right? Operations. I had to deal with all kind of different people. And I had to figure out a way to speak to everybody to where they understood that one common language, which was common sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think too many people are trying to justify their way of thinking rather than operating in common sense and just,
Right.
understanding that. So I don't think that we're too far gone. I think that instead of the practice of, as you say, trying, right, trying to figure it out, we should be in the practice of doing. Meaning that once you find through seeking counsel and self education, you find your purpose, then you operate in it. Cause then it's gonna guide you to people who are on the same frequency, similar to how we met, right? So there's a purpose behind how you move, and then just identifying those people, which is what I'm trying to do. is, get everybody in the same room. So I don't think so. I think the art was lost when you talk, when we talked, I said the episode about the griot, and I believe it's just a form of how Jesus taught his disciples. You know what I'm saying? There was only 13 of them. So
Yeah.
their job was to spread information, the gospel to the world. Now
Yeah.
imagine that task of 13 men that, what I'm saying, out of all of them, only one or two succeeded.
Yes.
And we're in a world where we live on the whole other side of the country, but yet that one last bit of direction caused us to have this conversation right now, right? So to answer your question, I don't think we're too far gone. I just think that we need to understand where we at right now and then walk in our, and walk and operate in our purpose. And it's going to guide us to people who are going to start gathering and doing what's necessary because you already know it's the least of us that are
Yeah.
failing, right? I mean, it's in the word. That's the one thing I can really appreciate about having to be disciplined and listening to what he was saying is that the truth is the truth. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what text it comes from. It is the truth. So that's my opinion, my brother.
I wanna make this statement, and I want you to tell me what you think about because this is from the interview that they had. He said he was representing the honorable uh, uh, you know Miss Louis Farrakhan, and he was saying the only knowledge man keeps is the knowledge that man shares.
Yeah.
And like it if you were, I don't know, I ain't gonna say if you're a simple minded person, but if you hear that, some folks will compartmentalize it and understand it, and some people will kind of have like little curiosities about it. So what did that mean for you when you hear it?
For me,
Yeah, when you hear that, like the only knowledge that man keeps is the knowledge that man shares.
so it's I look at it as if I had to put it in like a tangible, it'll probably be like currency, right? Your money,
Okay.
your money, you work for your money, all right? Knowledge, you work for the wisdom. Um, then you go into the market and you see what your money does and your ROI, your return on investment, right? So you're gaining something behind something that you're using after obtaining it, right? So you're leveling up more and more and more. So if you're using knowledge and having conversations by seeking counsel, then you're not only sharing it, but you're also receiving at the same time because now what you just did becomes truth, right? Which is the wisdom. So now
Yeah.
you gained it because you shared it, right? So it's almost like let's just take a doctor, for instance, right? A doctor can graduate from medical school a C student. I mean, let's be real. Not all of them is A plus 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Levels
Yeah.
of graduation, but then there's levels of the ability. Um, so let's say the doctor goes and he starts his practice real slow. You know what I'm saying? There's no acknowledgement there. There's nothing there. But he continues to do his continuing was it CLA continuing learning, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Right?
Yeah.
Continues to do that, and he's applying everything that he's receiving into his profession. And then now, all of a sudden, 10, 20 years from now, he becomes an expert in his field because he shared knowledge with
Yeah.
people, right? And it
Yeah.
becomes greater and greater and greater. So that's what I got from it because if it's not shared, then it's not worth anything. I mean, nobody wants to sit on a bunch of I know and never use it. I would hate that burden. So
Yeah.
that's why Jesus always told people it's greater in you than it is in me. You just don't know it. You can tell that mountain over there to move.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, even faith of a mustard seed has to come from somewhere. And in order to have it, it has to be shared. So that's what I got from it.
I like that. I resonate with that, and I receive it. So I just my statements and my thoughts, man, is more about growth and awareness. And I think the first uh couple weeks back when we had constant consciousness as the staple for that interview,
Mhm.
and consciousness clearly is it's just awareness. You know what I'm saying? What are you aware of, and what do you make as a practical formality for yourself to keep in memory of your awareness? And I think when we use these examples from the religious topic to the organizational way of us going through jobs and stuff like that, we're all just trying to mimic a behavior of patterns that will get us to a better position in life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think sometimes we really don't understand how we're coming or going in the pursuit of it all. So as we listen to, Nuri Muhammad and the pastor at your local church, or, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, you know, JFK, like anybody that is in a position of voice, they have pretty much a duty just by the divine right of what God has assigned us here to do, which is to, advocate and to speak and to, one of my favorite is connect many. You really are trying to, navigate this life in the best way possible so that you can have advancements that work the best for your conditions in your life. And so, I think a lot of these narratives, bro, are great narratives for all of us to, stick with, man, to hopefully take heed to our personal lives and even want to share it amongst other people and not be so vulturous in it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the vulture mentality is what is causing so much of the demise in our walks. You know what I'm saying? Like folks just kind of got this, protective mantra about themselves, like everything is supposed to be a guardship about themselves, as if they can't have a more fruitful, vulnerable life. And you can be vulnerable, but I think a lot of what we do in our vulnerabilities in navigating life, we misjudge the way that we are supposed to measure people who are supposed to aid in our vulnerability. We're vulnerable too much instead of analyzing what a person is able to really assist us in that vulnerability. You see what I mean? So,
So we keep referencing um this person. So I want to just play like one of these clips, and then
uh,
I want you to give me your feedback on what
okay,
you got from it. So I'm just gonna
okay.
pick a random one um and go.
The black woman, the healthy ideology of a husband and a family is a black woman with a black
Well,
man
that
that is
definitely ain't
beautiful.
it. That's definitely not it, man.
I feel like black women in general are disappointed with me. I feel like maybe the single black woman who look to individuals like me sometimes, or public figures, and I say me, but I'm also probably saying just the prominent black man in general, for some of our actions, and specifically even towards black men. It has to be difficult when you see, black men not upholding their side of the party.
One, I would say you are lying. You are lying.
Maybe I'm loved, but I'm
All right. So that was random, right?
Okay. Was
But
that Nick?
what's happening right now as we speak in the world?
Oh, come on, man. Hey, first off, shouts out to Kamala Harris, man. Shouts out to
Okay.
her. Shouts out to every black man that's gonna stand 10 toes down for their black woman.
Yeah.
Shout out to every Republican converted to Democrat because of this huge narrative that's going on right now. shouts out to everybody who is a lot more conscious and understanding that peace and unity is what everybody's trying to get right now in this world, bro. Everybody's trying to get that. So to that point, it's just confused chaos in the way that we was all introduced to this world, bro. I think a lot of it is really that's what it is. So we ain't really trying to fight amongst each other. We just getting bad narratives from the start of our lives. And like, bro, tell me your sentiments, man. You know I get in this, I preach on that. So just tell me, hey, bro.
Hey man, look, it's just a matter of just picking your brain, man, seeing where you at with it. So now that we done shifted gears, right?
Yeah.
Look, got the man smiling and all kind of shit. Now that we done shifted gears, right? That
Well,
seems to be the narrative, right? And I'll be the first one to admit that, you know, I don't fully understand the black woman, right? I didn't grow up in a black house. I didn't grow up with black family. I didn't have, you know, I didn't
I
have
did.
that, right? Right. So I'm a little behind the eight ball when it
Oh,
comes to, what it looks like to properly support a black woman. So, there's times where I fall short and I'm constantly learning. But with that being said, my brother, what is your thought on what that looks like for you?
I am black, and you know, I am black because I came from a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
and my father's black, and I believe that the bulk of who I am is because of the black woman. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about, how I learned how to, and listen to how I'm navigating this now, how I learned how to cut grass, wash dishes, iron, save money, sell candy, nurture kids, because my mom had a daycare for 15 years, nurturing 12 kids at a time, in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and being able to show me the empowerment of the movement of a black woman. I believe that, it's imperative to understand both the beauty and the struggle, and the beauty with the struggle. And I think that's really what a lot of us get confused on. We don't understand that part. Not everyone has the patience to understand another person's struggle point. But we all want to have a good storytelling narrative, though. Or we all want to at least sit around the campfire and listen to somebody tell their narrative, as long as it's interesting enough, right? So the black woman narrative is always the beautiful, the beautiful harmonic, resonance in our ear that we listening for. Hell, every culture allures to the black woman. Every single culture. It don't matter what it is, from hair to
Yeah.
the body, the intellect,
Even
the
the purpose
position.
of the Nation of Islam is the focus on the black woman, right? And that's interesting in itself. So you say a lot of, what we like to do, what we like to do. But today is just me and you. So what does Tim do to let his black woman know that
Yeah,
he supports her, um, loves her, and is going to be the black man, right? Because black man is God
yeah.
to her. So for
I
you,
had to shift my hustle mentality of trying to get, to trying to win a rat race. I had to shift that, because I think a lot of us as black men are trying to do that. That's why we get, very confused in the narrative of knowing how to praise the black woman and knowing how to really honor the black woman. That's just facts, bro. Listen, man, I didn't have my faults in regards to just navigating black women or women, period. And I think at this particular day and age now, I'm learning how important it is to give them their flowers, and more specifically, my wife, to give my wife her flowers, to give her the position of encouragement, and to go out in the world and chop down these trees and, make sure that everything that I learn and gain, I bring it back to her so she can be more empowered to nurture my seeds. You see what I'm saying? That's really what it's coming down to. And just to have a real life moment, my father wasn't even in my life like that. I mean, no diss to him. I know he was navigating his own thing, trying to life out. But he was also nurtured by a Black woman. And in that's probably the way that he is today. And even in the absence of some things that he, needed to have for himself. I'm noticing that, a lot of us are always going to be conditioned to need that nurturing component from that Black woman. And that's just fact. So, I think a lot of us just have some confused references of how we need to go about it from a self-individualized standpoint of navigating life. So, and get the right teachings, get the right coaching, you know what I'm saying? Get the right awareness points to understand where to pay your respects to. So.
Okay. So with that being said, you are in a position of having knowledge that's been applied, that is now wisdom, which is your truth, that
Yeah.
cannot be argued in any scope, right? What would be your advice to, you know what I'm saying, a Black man or a young man, old, young, just trying to figure out another way? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be your direction that you would give in just a little dose without, you know what I'm saying, too much?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just planting that seed. What would that seed be?
Control your stimulants.
Mm,
When you stimulate yourself, you saturate your focus,
okay.
and you won't give yourself the opportunity to nurture properly.
Mm. Now, where did you learn that? How did?
Uh, Tidbits of everything, just from the financial focuses that we are all able to get access to these days, knowing how the financial structure eventually exposes what we are paying attention to, the way you spend your money, consumerism, how you consume it, how you spending, how you are saving, and how you are essentially trying to invest into future. I think all of this goes into I call it the Haberman sphere. You know what the Haberman sphere is, like that scientific molecule that it looks like it's breathing in and out, like it can go in and out, it retracts and expands.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know what
I,
you're talking.
right. So
When we get better, man, we'll be able to share screens and show pictures and stuff like that.
yeah, so I got a
Somebody know what
kid.
you're talking about.
Yeah, in spirit, man. But I got you next time. I'm looking for a
Oh,
Chrome
me
one.
too. Me too. Shit.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of us don't understand our presence. You know what I mean? We don't understand the value of our presence, like of our right now, of our ability to, comprehend what we know in that comprehension, what that means for our, ability to expand, and how we're trying to navigate our resources and network. We have no idea how that particular access in the presence is to scale us. So because of that, we're so busy consuming everything.
Right.
And in some things we consume more than we should, which makes us navigate a lot more drastically in some areas. You know what I'm saying?
Got.
So the
I
the
got.
advice to answer your question, the advice I would give Black men specifically is slow down on what you're consuming so that you can be able to put a better focus on yourself. That doesn't mean stop. It just says pay more attention to the patterns that you are observing and really put a focal point of analyzing a concoction, which is the development of your patterns, what it's actually getting you. You know what I'm saying?
Recipe.
And say
Yeah.
what?
I said the recipe.
Yeah, that's really what you're doing. You creating a recipe. There's a lot of us men that didn't have fathers in our lives, and you know what I'm saying, may have had some other issues in some aspects and things of that nature. But the longer you hold on to the dramatics of what you didn't have, the longer you stay in there. And I think I had to learn that too, just from navigating life in my own way. So, you know, like the book said, The only knowledge that man keeps is the knowledge that man shares. So when I share it, it resonates with me more because I got the opportunity to be vocal about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, man. So with that, right, with that, I think we're on to something. You know what I'm saying, with you, my brother. And think it's think what we're gonna kind of call it, and we could play with this, is Timmy's truth. See how that see how that feels, you know what I'm saying? Too cool truth or something like that. But let's just kind of dive into this little episode we was listening to. And I'm just gonna drag it, and wherever it lands, let's see what it says.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Lunar calendar stays consistent, right? April was the first month, right? They call it. I don't know what exactly. It's not even. It doesn't have any of the month names that America West has. Right. But so Ramadan would be like September. Right. They're September. Right. But it's the month that the Quran was revealed in. It's first started getting revelation. Muhammad first started getting revelation in Ramadan. So they made the month of the Quran, and to show a salute to the scripture, you fast. And it's a month of spiritual purification. There's no food or drinking or sexual intercourse with your wife or husband during the daylight hours. Right. And the lesson that comes from it, you do it for 30 days. Think about this: food, water, and sex. These are three things that either brought us here or keep us here. So if you can conquer and master for 12 to 15 hours a day what brought you here and what keeps you here, how easy it is for you to stop smoking a cigarette or to stop drinking or any other bad habit you want to break. So it becomes a month of spiritual purification, recommitting yourself. And we don't argue. We try not to watch anything foul. And that's something to think about too, because you can fast for multiple things. Yeah, it's every physical, mental, and spiritual. Fasting is the only thing that I know that touches all of those with no side effects.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't even know I was gonna land on that. That's funny. We was talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it validates everything, not only what you just said, right? By being aware of your stimulants and then being able to control the consumption of them by being disciplined in the ability to do something different. Not try, do something different. So,
Right.
with that being said, my brother, we're gonna hold that thought and we're gonna come back again. But
Yeah.
before we leave, man, you gotta leave the people with your truth. So give me a little bit of Tim's truth or Too Cool's truth, but let it be your truth so that it can fall in somebody's mouth and it can hang on their tooth where they can chew it and digest it and it becomes a part of them. What's your truth, my brother?
My truth is this. Be affectionate to those that are giving you the assurances of your vulnerability. And the assurance that you need is the way that you want to grow. And, I got this phrase, cogito ergo sum, it's tatted right here, by Rene Descartes, famous philosopher. And it means I think, therefore I am. And when you put yourself, my truth is, putting myself in environments that aids to my wisdom narrative, uh, giving me great memory, because memory is essential. It's a very essential and key component to your life. And the discipline structure with that comes, with the way you live and being able to have a good balance in all of that while staying organized. That's how your consciousness, resonates well in your development. You know what I mean? And my truth is staying constant in your consciousness and developing the balancing behaviors to organize it. You know.
See what I got. See what I got. Where yours at? I know it's near somewhere. But yeah, man, that's dope, man. I like what happened today. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a shift from what we normally do, but definitely necessary because people need to hear a little bit more elaboration on the communication and the delivery and the message and all that good things because, some people like to sit and listen and some people like to sit and watch. But what
Yeah,
we something tangible that they can walk away with as a resource, right?
right,
Was
right.
because it's all based in truth, and as long as we continue to speak in truth, what we want will be, and it's the power of the tongue. And this is the vessel that we use. And this has been another episode of So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American of this country, and a damn thing you do about it. We got Tim Mason on here, man. I do appreciate you for coming, my brother. You definitely motivate me to want to do more because if it weren't for you, it wouldn't be about me because it's not about me. It's about you. So I say that to say, man, I thank you again. If you want to lead the people with a little bit of information about you and things that you have and how you can be reached, we definitely know that this is going to happen again and again and again until it becomes something that people want all the time. So I'll let you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, thank you, Mr. Thunder, for having me on here since the day we met. I think I have added you to my arsenal of council members that can always be relied upon as I seek counsel. So thank you for, the reliable platform and gracious divine energy that you bring. And I believe that everyone that, tunes into your show will always take something positive away. And as we continue navigating and narrating, I think everyone will be, hopefully encouraged and looking forward to seeing my own particular platform coming in development as we speak. So, but the Mason family is what it is that I'm focusing on,
Yeah.
getting things up. Got a scholarship in motion right now for kids from my alumni at North Little Rock High School. We got some things in motion for those kids and the people who are going to that school and trying to seek higher heights in education and academics to go to college. And, more to come, man. More to come.
That's dope. Well, um, as a surprise, my brother, we will be in your area next weekend. So we
For sure.
set up an on location session. So that'll be forthcoming. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we'll be able to get that done. But like I said,
Yeah,
man, I definitely appreciate you for coming. You definitely have a purpose in my life when it comes to my motivation and what I'm trying to do and the direction that I'm looking for through the counsel that I'm seeking. And everybody's gonna eat. Everybody's gonna eat. And eventually, you know what I'm saying,
got to.
you're gonna be able to bring more people on here, man. I'm trying to get Mike on here, man. Trying to get him on here. He he running from it. He got a
Hey,
lot.
let's.
He got a lot of good stuff to say too, man.
Yeah, I know we do. I know we do. I know
Yeah,
we do.
I'm gonna try and set it up for this weekend, man. That way, we all get together and have a good time. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, man. I'm gonna end this podcast right now with a thought, and the thought is, don't think, just do. Again, that's so says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American of this country. This has been Tim Mason, the brother like no other. I don't know how else to say it. If you wouldn't have known, we would have grew up together and it looked like that. So yeah, man. So everybody stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Instagram page, so says Mr. Thunder, Too Cool Timmy on Instagram, and then also you know what I'm saying, you can find me on all podcasts. So we're looking forward to doing more. Obviously, we're getting better and better as we go. So the content and information is always going to be charged and never delayed. So with that being said, I appreciate you for coming, and I'm out.
Ready.